Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video we are going to look at the round 25 preview. So I guess for a lot of our head-to-head leagues, preliminary finals time, so getting to the very pointy ends of it. And I guess also not a lot of trades going around, so I guess those we have left we do have to make the most of. But as usual with our preview, we'll start off by looking at the landscape in terms of trades and captaincy options. And on the trade outs list this week, the first player, or number one on the list, is Payne Haas. So I guess, he is a keeper. So if you can't afford to hold, you probably should. But, if it's going to potentially cost you your head to head game and you've got the trades, then obviously you've got Adam Fanua-Blake, you've got Tino if you can afford him. So you should be able to, if you haven't got one of them, I'd upgrade there. Other players like Tarpany, Tohu, Corey Horsburgh, even I guess is popular in the front row sort of category. I'd probably don't think it's worth it. I think the money could be spent better elsewhere in other positions. But yeah, so I guess if you're desperate for an extra playing this week, fair enough. But if you can, I would hold. Jacob Preston, so suspended for the next two rounds. So if you've got him, you can get rid of him. Mitchell Moses injured out for the SuperCoach season anyway. So yeah, that's a fair enough trade. If you've got him, get rid of him. Reece Walsh. So I know I was talking about trading out Latrell next week when he's on bye, so I can understand this play. But again, if you can afford to, try and hold because Reece Walsh is a very good player. The Hammer, so he's injured 1 week. So again, if you can afford to hold, probably you'll get him back next week. Pat Carrigan, so he's made a little bit of money as well, which sort of sweetens the deal here. I think if you've got all three Broncos guys, Carrigan would be number one on the trade block. You could almost afford to go to Fafita. 30 grand gets you Dave Fafita if you haven't got him. There's other options like Nikora and the other one, where is he? Bryce Cartwright, there you go, he's up there. I'll skip past it probably. It's probably right in front of me, I can't see it. I've forgotten who I was going to highlight this then. No, it's escaped me. Isaiah Yo, there you go, found him. So I think those would be good plays. But again, if you can hold, you can. If not, trade out. So Gutho and Jermaine Hopgood. It's obviously a bit flat last week. They play the next 2 weeks, so if you've got enough trades and you're not carrying a lot of Broncos and South players, fair enough. But they'll be good for the next couple of weeks, and then if you want to offload them in round 27, so be it. Val Tafari not named, so yeah, okay, that makes sense. You'd probably just be nuffing him out, I would have thought. Use the money to upgrade another position. And Josh Schuster, yeah, I think he's done his bit. So if you've got him, you can trade him out, particularly if you've got him in the 5'8 slot. You want two gun 5'8s. Second row, you'd probably be nuffing him out. On the trade ins this week, so Big Tino, probably the number one target for Payne Haas. Good trade. We love Big Tino. Nick Meaney, so against the Dragons this week, he's relatively cheap, almost $100,000 discount on his start price. The one thing with this is next week potentially could be the return of Ryan Pappenhausen, although the rumour is he might start off the bench. So this could actually be a nice point of difference pickup for the back end of the season. Adam Fanua-Blake, yes, for Payne Haas, yes, for pretty much anyone else in the front row, let's be honest. He's a gun. Eli Katoa, so yeah, another nice little point of difference option in the second row. So you trade now to Pat Carrigans and the like. I do like that trade. Tohu Harris, so as a bit of a budget option trade for Payne Haas, I guess. Like I said, I'd rather try and find 100 grand and pay for Noah Blake. But I know in my NRL fantasy team, Tohu was the budget option that I could afford to bring in this week, so that's what I did. Cam Munster, yep. I mean, he's playing the Dragons, and he's always good for a spike week every now and again. So could be this week. Ronaldo, so probably people picking up his bottomed out in price, but he's playing the North Queensland up in North Queensland, and then their next games aren't that great either. Yeah, so Newcastle at Newcastle, and then Canberra at home. Okay, maybe, but yeah, I think there's better options. Obviously, if you're stretching the budget and you want to have an absolute flyer, okay, but I think there might be better options. I don't know what they are. I haven't looked too deep because I'm too low on trade stuff to play around with that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's not my first pick. Latrell. So this is an interesting one. Plays Newcastle this week in Newcastle, which isn't the best matchup, and then has the bye next week. So if you're bringing fullbacks in, we can probably just have a quick look at all of them because you know there's a few to choose from. I mean, for extra few K, you can get Gutho, who'll play the next 2 weeks. Drinkwater might be out of range. Dylan Edwards, at 490K against the Gold Coast this week, who haven't looked too flash lately. And then what's their run home like? Para, the wheels have started to fall off a bit there. And North Queensland both at home as well. So, I think if you're going to get Latrell for 2 weeks, I'd almost think about going someone like Dylan Edwards for 3 weeks. Um, that's just, I thought I've got Latrell, so obviously, I can't sort of talk him down too much, but I guess, yeah, given he's got the bye next week, when we just look at the next three fixtures, it's like, well, are you going to, hope for upside to get the round win this week, and then you've still got to make another trade next week? Whereas someone like Dylan Edwards could probably do the job across both weeks. Nickera, I've had him most of the season as a gun second rower. I can't begrudge anyone bringing him in, even with the Sharks don't have that great run, but he's always a chance of a try. And Jermaine Asake, so against the Tigers, I think people might be targeting this pick. I don't hate it. He's capable of scoring tries. Obviously, any attack the Dolphins do have, he'll get some goal kicks off the back of that. So yeah, whether he's the number one gun option at that price, again, I haven't looked at it too close. Sort of been a busy week, I suppose, with the show holiday sort of suggests it's not a busy week, but a couple, I guess, social activities and whatnot come up because of it. So yeah, I didn't look at it too closely this week. And apologies to those people who might have been wanting some analysis, but life just gets in the way sometimes. And maybe I was a little bit salty about my head-to-head loss last week too. Yeah, so that's the trades. In terms of captains, let's have a bit of a look. We'll go in the top 1%, see what the big boys are doing. So it looks like, again, the most popular captaincy option, Kalen Ponga. I think it's mostly because of how late Newcastle play. And also the fact that, again, our halfbacks play fairly early in the week. So if you want to have a go at the loophole, you probably need, someone outside of the halfback position. And Ponga fits that bill pretty nicely. It's probably one where I actually think the Knights will do a number on the Rabbit. Not a number, that's probably a bit harsh, but I think they'll actually win. Um, but then again, my footy tipping this season hasn't been fantastic, so what do I know? I guess a lot of people are going for the opposite result there too with Latrell. So it looks like just whichever one you like based on who you think is going to win on Sunday Arvo is the pick for captain. And then after that, it's something like, it's because it's fullback. Sorry, I just realised. Oops. Take that off. No wonder they're both fullbacks. There we go. So Cleary's another popular option against the Gold Coast. I talked about Dylan Edwards as a cheeky pot option. But yeah, Cleary's the obvious sort of standout option there. Latrell was third overall position. Cam Munster against the Dragons. Yeah, I don't mind that shout. Harry Grant, he's one that I've thought about potentially captaining. You know, he played 60 minutes last week and got a ton. You'd imagine he'll go close to 80 this week, getting ramped up for the finals. Um, and even if he is only playing 60, he's still capable of banging out a good score. So if you're looking for that high floor captain, I think Harry Grant is the option there. Sean Johnson, you know, he's always in the conversation, and particularly at home against Manly. I think it's a pretty decent matchup. Nick Meaney, so I guess, you know, a few people back in the Storm to do well against the Dragons. They are ramping up nicely for the finals, so it's a bit more of a pot option, and I guess zero point 0.6 would suggest that. And then Nico Hines, Teddy, Cody Walker. I guess a few of the usual suspects, a few people like to opt towards. In terms of VC, it looks like Cleary's the most. So it looks like probably Cleary into Ponga would be the prevailing option there. Scotty Drinkwater, if you've got him in the first game against the Sharks up in North Queensland, yep, I really like that. SJ is a popular choice as well. CNK, you know, same sort of game script as Sean Johnson, as well as, you know, plays fullback like Scott Drinkwater, so it makes sense. Harry Grant, so that's a bit of a late VC shout, but okay. Hines, Tedesco, Joey Manu, you know, he's always a high risk, high reward sort of option. And DWZ, so you can see 0% captain. And same with CNK, you know, that they're real sort of flyer options for your vice captain this week. So in terms of my team, as I discussed in the round preview, there's not a lot going on in terms of trades. You know, I can afford to hold Haas. I've got, you know, more than enough options in the forwards, and, you know, even, you know, some options across the back line if need be. It's a pretty nice place to be. You know, I guess I don't necessarily have to hold the trade for Latrell, so I could make some moves. You know, go for a bit of a flyer, but yeah, we'll just wait and see how it pans out. We might sort of try something a bit funky for round 27 if it comes down to it. But yeah, you can see as well, I've gone the VC on Sean Johnson. Probably just a bit of a point of difference sort of play. If I had Cleary, I couldn't really activate the loophole effectively because pretty much all my forwards would have played by then. So SJ just gives me a bit more time to make that happen. The other play is potentially, you know, just a straight C Cleary. You know, against the Titans, I probably do like that. But then, you know, my VC would have to be someone like CNK. Actually, it could go Tedesco, I reckon. Let's do it. Yeah, just like I said, I'm not 100% confident on Ponga and Mitchell, who's going to sort of win out in that battle. Probably more confident in something like this setup. And then looks like, yeah, I've still had plenty of time um, after this. Oh, hang on. Who have I got? So I might have to do something like Nickera on the bench. That's all good playing. Yeah, so then I guess if I need to, I can get Tarpany off the field to get the loophole captain in Martin on for Sunday Arvo. Or I could do Munro too, I suppose. But yeah. Hmm. Actually, who would sub off for Munro? No one, because they all play early. Yeah, so I think, yeah, I'd have to do something like that set up so that I've got Tarpany as the free man to swing out. Although I do really like his chances of scoring a try against the Bulldogs middles, given their defensive efforts recently. But yeah, we'll wrap the video up there. So thanks as always for tuning in. Feel free to comment, question below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the content. Remember, it's going to keep coming over the summer with the English Premier League, so Fantasy Premier League, and also some NFL stuff. So looking to maybe do a couple more NFL videos in the near future. Um, but yeah, other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.